We spend a lot of our time in business and meetings, whether it's Zoom meetings, in-person meetings, or otherwise. How do we make sure that these are effective? How do we make sure we accomplish the objectives at hand? In this video, 6 key components to having a successful business meeting. The first of these is having a plan or an agenda going into it. Even if there's going to be some improv and some ideation within the meeting, you still want to have a clear agenda, at least some bullet points as to, okay, these are the topics that we want to tackle, these are the objectives that we want to accomplish, these are the things we want to flesh out. Second, be clear with what you want. So you have the objectives, you have the things that need to be discussed, and whether this is an internal meeting amongst people you're working with or an external meeting in the sense of speaking to a counterparty, a lender, an acquirer that we'd be talking to on the other side of the table when representing our clients. But in either case, whatever the objectives are, be clear with what you want out of those objectives, both from what you would like to accomplish in the discussion and also what you would like to accomplish in the outcome. Always take the approach that no one's ever going to know your intention, no one's ever going to know your thoughts. There are no mind readers in this world, so make sure you say what you want, and therefore you've at least done your job of effectively and clearly communicating your desires and objectives of the situation. Number 3, somewhat the counterbalance of number 2, don't talk too much. More mistakes are made in speaking too much than in too little. Say what it is that you want, discuss things thoroughly, of course, but don't feel the need to over-explain. Don't feel the need to rationalize everything to the nth degree. Say what's necessary. Again, always keep in mind, where many words are spoken, trouble is unavoidable. And number 4, we'd also advise, don't answer for other people. And particularly when that's a counterparty, particularly when that's someone across the table and you've asked them a difficult question, and you've put them on the spot, not in a bad way, but in a way that you need actual input from them, that you need to know what they're thinking. Don't feel the need to lead them in saying, oh, but what you mean is this, or, oh, but you want to accomplish this thing as well. Trick I used to do earlier in my career is when you'd ask a difficult question and you wanted to stop yourself from continuing to talk, you just tap your foot, everything else stays the same, and wait for that answer. Number 5, and this is somewhat of a theme to keep in mind throughout all of this, is don't be afraid to disappoint. Most progress in businesses is made after a handful of very difficult discussions. And you can almost look at every kind of breakthrough you've had, whether personally or in business, at least I can say from our own experience, oftentimes it's the product of having difficult decisions when they're needed to be had. And you're not always going to tell people things that they want to hear, but oftentimes you have to tell people things that they need to hear. And over the long run, I would opine that those people will appreciate that more than if you just encouraged or spurred someone on even when the idea wasn't good. And again, there can be a heartfelt debate as to what is a good or what is not a good idea. However, you need to voice your opinion, you need to communicate in a way that gets the points across, however, is unafraid at the disappointment others may take from it. Because, again, I think another biblical quote is, woe to you who all men speak well of, and that can oftentimes be true in business as well. You can't make everybody happy or you're assured to make yourself miserable. So, don't be afraid to disappoint. Communicate clearly, honestly, with integrity, of course. But again, the outcome's going to be the outcome. Lastly, there's a bookend to this, and similar to going into the meeting with an agenda, we say leave a meeting with an agenda as well. What are the next steps? What's everybody's homework? What does everybody have to do? What is the next action plan? You never want to just say, okay, this was great, and leave it to random chance as to what's going to take place next. You say, okay, meeting's done, everybody has their homework, here's when the next meeting is, or here's the next deliverable, and that gives it a continuation, a fluidity to it that's going to help usher the ultimate objectives along, because some of the objectives you're going to be able to accomplish in the meeting, others are going to depend on future events, and so important to have those next steps clarified and communicated to everybody while everyone's there. And so to wrap this up and to recap, 6 components from our experience that have been vital to successful business meetings are as follows. Have an agenda or a plan going into it. Be clear with what you want. There's no mind readers. That said, number 3, mistakes are often made from speaking too much, not too little. 4, don't answer for others. Someone once told me we're all big boys and girls and we can answer our own questions. So put the questions in front of them, let them answer the questions. Number 5, don't be afraid to disappoint. Purpose of the meeting is not to make everyone happy. Purpose of the meeting is to accomplish the objectives at hand. Keep that in focus and don't be self-conscious in that regard. And lastly, leave a meeting with the plan for the next steps. Once you have that in place, everybody will be on the same page as to what's to happen next and what everybody's supposed to do between now and then. So that's a thought for today. Hope the week's getting off to a good start for everyone. Keep pushing forward. God bless. See you next time.